Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome. And this, as this title says, is a response. Was off today, but I did a bunch of stuff around the house as I'm in the middle of moving. And got done, watched some TV, watched some Eureka, watched some ECW, watched some Dexter, took a shower, came on, got on YouTube, and I saw a video that I had to respond to, a video that just called to me and said, you have to respond to me, to its topics, to the points that were made, to the things I agreed with, to the things I didn't disagree with, to all of it. I just felt like I was compelled, like an addict, to respond to it. And the video was BigHustle's ratings video. You see, BigHustle, for those of you that have not seen his other vids, go check out his vids. He does great vids. They're slideshow vids, but they're wonderful. He definitely has what I would call a radio voice. He puts on amazing vids. I would put them up with Calvin E. Hobbs and Pearson's as far as quality. Same thing with Oliver's as well, as just as far as quality of the vids. I would put them up on that level, on that par. They're that good. And in this video, he started off with a comment, a controversial comment, but a comment all the same that I think is pretty dead on, which is the fact that, that ratings, TV ratings for wrestling programs mean shit. And he is right. In many regards, ratings don't really mean a lot. They're a good guide, don't get me wrong. I don't think we should totally ignore them. And in his video, he said he felt like you shouldn't totally ignore them. And I agree with that. I think you do have to pay attention to them in the process of how many people are watching your product and the success of your product. The fact of the matter is over the last, since the Benoit stuff and all the fallout from that, the ratings have dropped for WWE, and that's something that should alarm WWE, and it has. Now, I think there's reasons for that, which I've gone into: not pushing the right talent, not giving young guys the chance, not putting fresh faces in front of, the television, that sort of thing, or giving them the chance to be in front of television. And then you have TNA, and I often bring up the ratings with TNA because they're very stagnant, and that's why I bring up the ratings with TNA, because I don't see any growth with TNA. They pretty much are getting the same ratings they've always gotten, and I think that's a problem in my view. It's a problem that has to be addressed. And I'm bringing up the TNA thing because his first video was talking about TNA, and then he talked about the ratings, so that's why I'm talking about the TNA thing. Is the fact that, and here's my problem with the ratings, why I bring them up. We're continually told that the reason why Kurt Angle and Sting and Christian Cage and all of these guys from the WWE, all these established stars, have to be pushed is because they're going to bring in ratings. They haven't done it. Sting, Angle on television didn't bring in the ratings. It didn't. So why is it that we're stuck? So I think that's not a true statement from TNA's part as to why they can't push the younger talent like so many of us would like. Because it's definitely what they're doing is not improving the ratings. Why can't we see if doing something else will improve the ratings? And if it doesn't improve the ratings, then that's fine. But it's definitely, I think, something that needs to be addressed. Now, he brought up the fact that, ratings don't mean quality, and he's exactly right. He's exactly right in that. Ratings don't mean quality. And if you think ratings mean quality of product, you're completely wrong. And a great example of this is during the Attitude Era, though I love calling it the Monday Night Era, because Monday Night Wars era, because that's really what brought on the ratings war, and why the ratings were so high was because you had the Monday Night Wars going on, and the media grabbed onto it because the media was like, look, someone's actually going against Vince McMahon, and the media's biased against Vince McMahon allowed them to kind of latch on to WCW, and you had this basically war going on, and people were turning in just to see, okay, what's Vince going to do? What's WCW going to do? Okay, the WCW has NWO. Now what's you had a lot of people switching channels, and that's why I think the ratings for both shows were a bit inflated at the time, and were not as high as they actually were, is because people were flipping channels. They'd watch one thing on Raw, one thing on Nitro, and just flip back and forth. That said, you know, when Nitro started just in the ratings started beating the crap out of WWE, there was this misconception that they were magically so much better than WWF at the time. And that's not true. They were better for about a 6-month period. And then Vince basically got his stuff together, started putting on better events, started putting on better wrestling matches, and Raw was actually a much better product for far longer than a lot of people, I think, even realize. It was much better than the Nitro was. Nitro had lots of stupid stuff going on, and people were turning in just to see the stupid stuff that was going on. Not because it was good, but because what stupid thing are we going to see next? What crazy thing are we going to get next? You had lots of casual fans going in, but I wouldn't put it as a better show than Raw was at the time. Now, to take it a step further, that doesn't mean that, okay, TNA is only getting a 1.10, so that must mean the show's crap. I've never thought TNA's show was crap because it got to 1.0. I think it's crap because I think it's crap. I don't think that it's a good... I didn't think Impact was a good 1-hour show, and I'm not real confident that it's a good 2-hour show. It's an okay 2-hour show, but SmackDown I think is better. Raw is what Raw is, and I think that they need to figure out what they want Raw to be, and then I think Raw could be better. But I would put it on par with Raw at the moment, which isn't saying a lot. And Raw definitely has, you know, more stars, and definitely has, I think, is in some cases more entertaining than Impact. But I would put the wrestling I put the wrestling higher than what's on Raw, but I would put the entertainment aspects of it better on Raw. So I think it evens it out. And then I think SmackDown is just, I think, better show, much the way I felt like ECW was a better 1-hour show than Impact was. It has nothing to do with the ratings. And the ratings, you know, it's good to pay attention to the ratings because it's good to see, are people turning in, are things working, are the casual fans turning in, that kind of thing. And there's definitely casual fans turning in to Impact. There's definitely is, because as I stated on here, the estimate for the die-hard wrestling internet fan is somewhere between 250 and 500,000 fans in the U.S. Well, they're definitely getting more than that. They're getting about 1 million people turning in. Where now, when it comes to the pay-per-view numbers, well, pay-per-view numbers suck because they're not getting the die-hard wrestling fans to buy their stuff. But neither is WWE, though, you know, we can debate on streaming and people doing illegal downloads and all of that stuff. But it's just something to keep in mind. The ratings don't mean a lot. They're important because you're making money off the ratings, but that doesn't mean quality. That doesn't mean that you're going out there and doing something that, you know, is great stuff because you're popping a good rating. You go out there and put on the worst show imaginable and pop a good rating. He brought up ECW, and one thing that I would tell him about ECW and their ratings was they were on a much weaker network. They were on the same network basically that TNA is on, but it was a much weaker network at the time, and they did not have the support that TNA does from the network. Now, he brought up the point that he thinks TNA, or that Spike and Viacom could do a better job of promoting TNA, and I agree with that. I think that there should be some more cross-promotion going on and that sort of thing, and hopefully at some point they will do that. Though I don't see that with UFC, though UFC really doesn't need it, so I don't know if they're willing to put out the money for that for TNA. And I'm with him. If they're going to do these 2-hour specials like the Clash of Champions type things that they're talking about, I hope they're live, because if they're live, I think that the ratings might be a little better. It'd be interesting to see if the ratings jump a little bit since they're live and there's not the spoilers and people are going to turn in to actually see what's going on. But we'll have to all wait and see for that. This is, like I said, this is just my views on some of the things he said. Definitely go check out his vid. Great vid as always. Great, wonderful vid. And he's definitely, man, this guy's good. That's all I'm going to say. And you should subscribe to him if you're not already subscribed to him. I'm out. Have a good one. Bye.
Let's ride.